will say, take all the glory, honor, and adoration. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Please be seated. Your Excellency, Sir Simnalai Fubara, GSSRS, Governor of Rivers State. Your Excellency, Sir Celestine Omehia, former Governor of Rivers State. Your Excellency, Engineer Tele Ikuru, former Deputy Governor of Rivers State. Elder statesmen, party leaders, and major stakeholders present here today. Distinguished members of the National Assembly, Chairman, Rivers State Council of Traditional Rulers, Eze Chike Waluwodu, DSSRS, JP, Eze Oha Para IV, all monarchs, all clergy present at this event. Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Tammy Wenike Danagogo, DSSRS, members of the State Executive Council, special advisors, heads of commissions, permanent secretaries, heads of boards, departments and agencies, stakeholder groups present, distinguished and invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the commissioning of the Government House staff quarters built by the administration of His Excellency, Sir Simnalai Fubara, GSSRS. It is the first in a series of commissionings that are meant to enhance housing, security, improved healthcare, education, and service delivery in the state. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to present the welcome remarks at this event, it's my pleasure to invite the Chief of Staff, Government House, the Right Honorable Edison Ogaya, Ehi.
Ibolilaya mo, Ibolilaya, Ibolilaya dikwe, Ibolilaya, Ibolilaya mo, Ibolilaya, Ibolilaya dikwe, Ibolilaya.
Your Excellency, our leader, Your Excellency, the most humble but fearless, unbroken Governor of Rivers State, Sir Amopu Senebo Siminalai Fubara, GSSRS. Your Excellency, the former Governor of Rivers State, Sir Celestine Ngozichim Omehia, GSSRS. Your Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Engineer Tele Ikuru, former Senate President Pro Tempore and President General Ohaneze Ndibo, Senator John Azota Mbata, former Chief Whip of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Adawari Pepo, Senator Lee Meba, Sir Amopu Senebo, Dr. Samsam Jaja, former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, our leader, Pastor Prince Uche Secondus, former National Chairman of the PDP, other leaders, political leaders here present, former Minister of Transport, Dr. Abie Sekibo, other political stakeholders, Secretary to the State Government, members of Cabinet, dear leaders of Rivers State, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this very outstanding commissioning of the Government House staff quarters by the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Sir Simnalai Fubara today. Your Excellency, apart from your transformative approach to governance, which has seen other sectors rapidly developing, the health sector, the education sector, road networks, the economy rebuilt, and security highly impressive across the 23 local governments of Rivers State. You have not forgotten the staff of Government House. That is why you totally brought down the dilapidated and outdated structure that was here before and erected from foundation to finish, tastefully furnished, new Government House staff quarters. This is because you take very highly the welfare of the staff of Government House, the welfare of civil servants, and the welfare of Rivers people. What you are seeing here is a state-of-the-art facility with everything you can think of in a luxury estate. It has canteen, it has gymnasium, it has mini basketball court, 24 hours power supply, and a very suitable water tank. I'll leave the other details of the building and the number of flats, which ranges from 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, self-contained apartments to the Palm Circle who will do the project description. But Your Excellency, the staff of Government House have asked me to tell you that you have surpassed the expectation and you have given them a reason to ensure efficiency, proactiveness in service delivery in Government House, and to ensure that I don't fail in assuring you that the entire staff of Rivers State Government House, just as Rivers people, are fully simplified. Thank you and God bless you, sir.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Chief of Staff giving the opening remarks. Performing at the commissioning of the Rivers State Government House staff quarters this afternoon, it's our pleasure to welcome the Abali Women's Cultural Group.
Yes.
Ayazaya owe, ele male ayazaya owe, ele rile ayazaya, when I sukura yuku, ayazaya obe amaru sukuna yo. Ayazaya owe, ele male ayazaya owe,
Yeah.
ele rile
ayazaya wene sukura yuku ayazaya onarumo sukura yo
ayazaya owe, ele male ayazaya owe, olerile ayazaya simu sukura yuku na ya bia bia obia marugo sukuna yo
ayazaya owe
ele male
ayazaya owe
elerile
ayazaya simu sukura yuku ayazaya bianorumo sukura yo
abiadule mowe ele male abiadule mowe elerile abiadule mo simu sukura yuku na abiadule mo bia marugo sukuna yo
ayazaya owe
elerile
ayazaya owe
Let's show some appreciation to the Abali Women Cultural Group, even as we ask some more cultural group to be on standby.
Ayoda banu yari woro wama
Owe aya owe
ala bunde mawe owe
Yada baru yari yaru
ayoda banu yari woro wama
Owe
Please give a round of applause to the Abali Women Cultural Group as they dance out. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's hear welcome some Mono Cultural Group.
asima tabanan
So
Anuwari boriri, ọdún yẹri kẹrù wọ́yọ̀ wá.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much. Some more cultural group. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you for your performance. As we continue with this event, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we now invite to present a brief description of this project the Permanent Secretary of Government House, Mr. Chikuma Augustine. Thank you once again, the Permanent Secretary of Government House, a brief description of this project.
Thank you. Thank you. His Excellency, Your Excellency, Sir Siminala Ifubara, DSSRS, the Executive Governor of Rivers State. His Excellency, Sir Celestine Omea, the former Governor of Rivers State. His Excellency, Engineer Tele Ikuru, the former Deputy Governor of the state. The SSG, Secretary to State Government, my special and capacity Chief of Staff, media and expo ladies and gentlemen. Please, His Excellency, let me start on the existing protocol. Summary of the Government House quarter situated at Forces Avenue, opposite Government House, OGRA, Port Harcourt. Your Excellency, we appreciate your consideration in making life meaningful to the staff of Government House by deeming it imperative to give facelift to the government quarters, which will impart their life meaningfully. This Government House quarters is comparable to any residential quarters anywhere in the country, including the FCT. This Government House quarters mark a diversion from what had been in previous administration. A very commendable achievement. A very commendable achievement for His Excellency, Sir Siminala, GSSRS. Governor of Rivers State. Before now, the government house quarter had a one-story building with 2-bedroom flats, a bungalow with twin 2-bedroom, a hostel, canteen, security post, and 2 gates with water tank. However, His Excellency deemed it necessary to award a contract to Monia Construction Company, MCC, on the 6th June 2024 to restructure the government house quarter to the enviable edifice, which is today being commissioned. This is a dream come true. We have to appreciate our amiable governor and pray God to give him all his heart desire, as deemed good for him. The overview of the project is as follows. The new structure, we have 6 numbers of 2-bedroom, 11 numbers of 1-bedroom, 11 numbers of self-contained, 11 numbers of boys' quarters. Hostel A have 32 bedroom spaces, bed spaces. Hostel B have 30 bed spaces. There's canteen, cafeteria, gymnast, fitness center where the civil servant will be exercising themselves. Mini basketball courts, a soundproof power generating plant, water tank. This contract is completed and contract sum fully paid. We thank you, Your Excellency, for a promise made and a promise kept. Thank you.
Permanent Secretary, Government House, Mr. Ndudi Augustine. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the contractor to also speak a little about this project. Speaking on behalf of Monia Construction Company, we now invite the General Manager and Chief Operating Officer, Engineer Omaka Oko.
Your Excellency, Sir Siminaye Fubara, GSSR, as Governor of Rivers State. Your Excellency, Sir Celestine Omeya, former Governor of Rivers State. Please permit me to rely on already existing established protocols. I want to thank Your Excellency for giving us the privilege and honor to be a part of this project, a special project, a project for the welfare of the workers, a project that put the people first. We thank you very much. Your Excellency, I wish to confirm that the government house staff quarters has been completed as specified and on schedule. And I want to thank all the stakeholders who has cooperated in one way or the other and made it possible for us to execute this project. Without wasting your time, the details of the project have already been enumerated by the Permanent Secretary, and it has been completed on time and as specified. We want to assure Your Excellency that we remain committed in the delivery of quality projects and on time, whenever and wherever we are given the opportunity. Thank you, Your Excellency, once again, for the privilege and be a part of this laboratory project. God bless you. God bless Rivers State. God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite our leader, who is carried by grace, who is focused and development-driven, our leader, greatly loved by the people of River State, a leader who leads by example and by the rule of law, and is dedicated to the service of River State, the Governor of River State, His Excellency, Sir Simnalai Fubara, Grand Service Star of River State.
Thank you. Your Excellency, former Governor of River State, Sir Celestine Omehia. Your Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of River State, Engineer Tyler Ikru. Distinguished Senator John Mbata, and also the President General of Ohaneze Ndibo General. Coincidentally, is also from my dear state, River State, which also stands as another great and strong support on our grassroots base in River State. Distinguished Senator A.M. Pepple, Senator Lee, our political engine room, Pastor Prince Secondus, former Minister for Transportation and Seaport and Airport, Chief Abie Sekebo, Dr. Samsam Jaja, former Deputy National Chairman of PDP. We have a list of personality here, but because of what of time, allow me to use one other, His Excellency Orji Ngofa, as a point of contact to every other distinguished guest that is here. The Secretary to the State Government, members of the State Executive Council that are here with us, members of the National Assembly that are here with us, and the State Assembly, our royal fathers, the Chairman of River State Council of Traditional Rulers and others that are here, Permanent Secretary, Head of Departments, our women, our very energetic, immediate past chairman. I can feel you people. I can feel you people. Don't worry. By the grace of God, we will bounce back. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to take something, I want to do something different today. I want us to look at Philippians 3, verse 18 to 19. And it reads, "For as I have often told you before, and now I tell you again, even with tears, many live as enemy of the cross of Christ. Their destiny is destruction, and their God is in their stomach, and their glory is in their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things only. I want to say here today and to assure everyone that has stood with us, our strength is not on earthly thing. Our strength is in the supreme being. That even when we fail here, assuming has been contemplated, our victory is assured. Look, I want you to be in your highest spirit. It is not about who wins. It's about the glory and the honor of fighting gallantly. Being on the side of truth, not on the side of lies because of cheap favor. I want to assure you, all our supporters, I know the news that broke that on Friday must have dampened your spirit. Brace up. What is ahead is more than what we just passed. So, as a human being, I know you feel somehow, but just relax. God has our back. Our back is not on anybody, it's God. I want to thank you for your support and assure you that if there is one person on this planet Earth that will continue to stand by you, I will be that person. I assure you that I will lead you with honor. I will lead you with respect. And I will lead you with integrity. Knowing that when I leave here, I will have questions to answer. If I'm called upon 20 years, 30 years from today, I want to be proud to defend my position. So I thank you and assure you that I will not disappoint you. We must continue to tell the world that against what is being said, that there is no governance, that there is legitimate, purpose-driven governance in Rivers State. And we are here to display genuinely, not because of our own selfish interests, one of those things that this government have done to show that we appreciate, we understand the need, and we must continue to do what is right for our people. When we came on board, this building, just like as it's been described by the permanent secretary, it was a dilapidated building, completely uninhabitable. We felt we must add value, which is the basis of our governance, to what we meet. And we decided that, look, our staffs, they can't be living in uncomfortable place. They can't live like animals while I live in a big comfort in my place. Why would I get efficiency from my workers if they are not happy? And the government decided to embark on this. I'm happy that the contractor delivered it within the time limit. So let me thank the contractor, MCC. MCC has been doing a lot of job for us, and they have been doing it diligently with so much commitment, knowing that we have a lot of people there trying to keep record of our activities, not on the government that is not hiding anything. Government that even when it is believed that the things we did were not done right, they were able to show the world that this is the thing we intend to do and this is how we're going about it. It is a future that anybody here knows that it was a challenge to previous administration. Then we did it with ease because we don't have anything to hide. Just like the word said, we are not after our stomach, we are after the joy of our people. That at the end of the day, what will count for us is the life we have touched genuinely, the legacy we leave that will speak for us, that will open doors for our children, our generations yet unborn. Knowing that and having that in mind, it spoils us. It forces me as a person to stand on the side of right, to stand on the side to do good, to stand on the side that even if anybody calls me tomorrow, I should be bold to defend my action. I'm happy that we have conceived this project, executed it, and by the special grace of God today, we're dedicating it to the glory of God. I thank God for that. Our leaders, I do not have anything to give to you. We have not even given you anything right from the time we started. We have been running a system where every time when we try to stabilize, one spinner will be thrown into our way. So for that reason, it's like bringing us to ground zero again, and we start afresh. But I will continue to thank you for supporting us without getting anything. Supporting us because you believe that it is the right thing to do for Rivers State. Let anybody not be deceived. There are faces today that will carry the symbol of some persons, and it will be a curse in this state. People should know that, because no matter how we've been fooled in this state, it has gotten to a point where this state have decided to take their destiny by their hands. In as much as I don't subscribe to violence, when the time comes for us to take a decision, I will lead the cause for that decision. Let me say it again, and let me say it again. The worst that will happen is me to leave the office. It's not. Am I leaving the earth? Is it going to stop me from existing? So I'm not even bothered about that. But the right thing must be done and must be said when the opportunity is given to us. So let me thank everyone, more especially is our youth. Be strong. Don't be backed up. Be strong. I assure you, at the right time, you will get the instruction.
A biggie man, 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 a biggie man. He don't have for size, oh, a biggie man, a biggie man, a biggie man.
Thank you. So, our leaders, our good people of Rivers State, we thank you for your support. We're just starting today. We have a list of projects that we already outlined before the incident on Friday. But we're not going back on it. We must complete what we have already planned. And we'll add, if need be, to what we have already decided to do for our people. Let everyone know, let it be recorded this morning that the interests of Rivers State remains my priority. It's above every other thing. Even if it means to pay the supreme sacrifice for it, I want and I will not hesitate to do it. Let me, on this note, invite our leaders to join and the good of humanity. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Akaya, akaya, akatio fane
Here for the cutting of the cake. Only members of His Excellency's entourage be here for the cutting of the cake, along with the Secretary to the State Government and the Chief of Staff. Only members of His Excellency's entourage, along with the Secretary to the State Government and the Chief of Staff.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hereby commission this project to the glory of God and to the well-being of humanity. Of God the Father, amen. God the Son, amen. And God the Holy Spirit. Amen. This government house quarters was built by the administration of His Excellency Simnalai Fuwara, Governor of Rivers State, commissioned by my humble self on this 3rd day of March, year of the Lord, 2025. To God be the glory.
The national anthem.
No, stop.
Hold on, please.
Stop.
His Excellency and members of his entourage will now inspect the facility.
Ah!
Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs. Stay tuned.
All who had genuine business to do in the assembly premises were allowed access, including journalists. Are you saying that's not completely correct?
Well, we are House correspondents, and we also got a message from the acting clerk of the House, Barrister Taiwo Otun, last night asking journalists to come in here. So we, of course, have genuine business here this morning. We were asked to come, cover the plenary session this morning. And when I walked in here, I was allowed to drive in, but then I saw my cameraman standing right here. When I asked why he was not allowed, he told me he can't go in. And just like some of the journalists who were also stopped like him. So we all have genuine businesses here. We were asked to come in here to cover the plenary session, and we are still standing here in the sun waiting for them, to call us, to go into the premises at NIFEM.
Can you confirm if plenary has started?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Can you confirm if the plenary session has started?
So we don't even know what's going on in the House, but then we know the bell should be loud enough for us to know, once it rings, for us to know that it's time to go in there. But even if the bell rings now, we have no assurance if we are going to be allowed to go in here. My cameraman should just pan so you can see the security officials at the entrance of the House of Assembly. We still have a lot of them around here, so we cannot move an inch from here. We've been asked to wait right here, so that statement sent out by the police is not true, because the reality speaks for itself, talking about the presence of security officials here. And from the visual we showed you earlier, journalists are here on their feet waiting to be given permission, to go into the House. So we wait, to see how that how things pan out.
Well, the police statement released by its spokesperson, CSP Benjamin Hudain, claims that everyone who has genuine business in the House, including journalists, have been allowed access. We can confirm to you categorically that that is not true. Thank you, Abimbola, for the update. We'll be back with you. Perhaps when you have access into the House, then we'll talk again. Thank you for the update, Abimbola. We'll get back to you when you have more updates for us. Let's turn away from that and go to Bayelsa State, where we're following closely developments there. First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, through her Renewed Hope Initiative program, has launched the Every Home a Garden initiative in Yenagoa. The initiative aims to promote food security and sustainable agricultural practices in households. Joseph Kunde has more.
This is the Alame Seya Banquet Hall, venue of this event that has prominent women leaders from the states in attendance. One thing has brought them together, and that is the launch of the Every Home a Garden by the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu. There are over 100 entries aimed at supporting local women farmers, boosting economic empowerment and contributing to the overall development of the state.
We should take a little leap away from oil and gas, and agri is the next thing. And Her Excellency Dr. Oluremi Tinubu emphasizes on food security. And so for us to have sufficient food in our homes, for us to also preserve and conserve our finance, every home, every woman is encouraged to have a garden in our home.
Excellent in natural habitats, oil, palm, ogbono, and so on. So it's a blessed state. I will not fold our hands and then be hungry in the midst of plenty. And I am really impressed with the turnout and what has been displayed.
The program will provide training and resources to women, enabling them to cultivate their own gardens and produce fresh, healthy foods for their families.
I appreciate Our Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu for this initiative, and also our mother, the First Lady of Bayelsa State, Dr. Mrs. Gloria Jiri. and I'm super excited. I'm grateful to God for this opportunity. I've been propelled to do more, not just for myself, and also but to encourage other people around me to go into gardening and go into agriculture.
After when they put for the flat platform that we should apply, I just applied casually. He said make a short video. I went to my backyard farm, I make short video and I sent. And they called us yesterday that we should come here. And when we came here, see what our president wife has done for us.
The Every Home a Garden program is expected to have a lasting impact on the lives of many women, fostering a culture of self-reliance and healthy living. Joseph Kunde, TVC News in Agua.
Former Governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, has asked President Bola Tinubu to build on the momentum of former Head of State Ibrahim Babangida's recent confession by initiating regular national dialogues. Ikenamechi has more.
The University of Delta marks its 4th Founders Day, having been established in 2021. The governor of Delta State, represented by his deputy, advocates for a comprehensive overhaul of Nigeria's educational curriculum.
The major drawback of our current educational system is that it prepares our graduates for salaried employment. We are determined to reverse the course by ensuring that technical and vocational education feature prominently in the academic curricula of our educational institution.
Former Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, the event's guest lecturer, speaks on the theme Nation Building, the search for a Nigeria that works for all. For him, Ibrahim Babangida's recent admission served as a crucial starting point for rebuilding the country's fractured unity.
During the launch of the Journey in Service by IBB, we saw so many Nigerians all out there together. We can use such informal forum, but a more formalized forum will even be more helpful to discuss the issues of Nigeria, to discuss the perceptions that we have, and to right the wrongs that have been done. And even in that forum, it came out because IBB said in his book that Abiola won the election. That statement alone has gone out to heal.
Mr. Okowa, an Ika-born politician recently questioned by the EFCC, also emphasizes the need to strengthen state institutions to ensure effective governance and accountability.
We must therefore build institutions capable of delivering justice, enforcing laws and upholding citizens' rights, establishing strong and independent institutions that protect democracy, combat corruption, promote ethical governance, and ensure transparency in public administration is a core need.
Other speakers at the event highlight key turning points in Nigeria's history, particularly the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, an event widely regarded as a defining moment in the country's democratic journey. They stress understanding and addressing past political missteps is essential in forging a truly inclusive and prosperous nation. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Agbo, Delta State.
And now to Abia State, where Governor Alex Otti has launched the Abia Fostering Innovation Reform School Transformation Initiative aimed at transforming the state's education sector. Inena Gabriel has more.
This initiative focuses on improving school infrastructure, teacher training and recruitment to meet the growing enrollment in public schools. Governor Alex Otti assures that the state government would continue to prioritize education.
Development is a continuing race to expand the frontiers of knowledge, to learn about the opportunities in our environment and how to harness them to improve the socio-economic realities of the human community. An investment in education is therefore not a favor to the citizens. It is a necessary right. Every forward-looking society must be determined to pay for the blessings and promises of tomorrow.
The initiative also includes digital learning platforms, technical education, and a revised curriculum. Stakeholders in the education sector emphasize the need for a skilled workforce to drive the future economy.
We are embarking on a formative journey that will reshape the future of education in other states. The whole project education is to improve the financial and management of resources to improve basic service delivery.
International development partners, including UNESCO, the World Bank, and the British Council, pledged their support for the governor's efforts in reshaping Abia's education system. Nena Gabriel, TVC News, Omahia, Abia State.
We're back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thanks for staying with us. In Jigawa State, more than 10,000 persons affected by last year's floods have received emergency relief as part of a federal government initiative. The palliatives distributed by the National Emergency Management Agency across the 18 local government areas aim to provide essential items to these flood victims. Authorities say the initiative is part of a broader response to disaster in the state.
This evening, we want sincerely thank His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for being considerate, always thinking of the plight of our people.
We deeply appreciate the unwavering support of the Jigawa State government, which has graciously taken responsibility for transportation and logistics to ensure these relief items reach those in need.
As we proceed with this distribution of these vital relief materials today, let us remember that it is only through our collective effort and government agencies and community members.
About 500,000 persons, mostly the poor and displaced, are set to benefit from a Ramadan relief package in Zamfara State. This initiative aims to provide support for fasting Muslims. Fifulus Darfai has more.
Ramadan, the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, holds profound significance for Muslims worldwide. It marks the period when the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, emphasizing self-discipline, empathy and generosity towards those less fortunate. During this holy month, Muslims fast from dawn to sunset, a practice that strengthens faith, fosters self-restraint, and instills compassion for the hungry. It is a season of devotion, sacrifice, and giving. Understanding the essence of Ramadan, Aminu Jaji has launched a large-scale food distribution initiative to bring relief to thousands struggling with hardship in Zamfara. The beneficiaries include the poor, the displaced, and those who have been hit hardest by insecurity and economic challenges.
We are doing it to the people of Zamfara State, more especially orphans, widows, less privileged, ulamas, and other stakeholders that we deem it necessary to support them at this very critical time, where Allah's blessings have been in abundance. And we all know that there is no better time that you can do good things than the month of Ramadan. Whatever is ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so long as you follow it wholeheartedly in accordance with the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, certainly you will see reward in abundance. This year, more than 500,000 people will certainly benefit from the disaster.
Mr. Jaji urged the people to use this sacred month to fervently pray for an end to insecurity, particularly the persistent banditry that has plunged Zamfara and other parts of the country. He also called on the Muslim community to seek divine guidance for the success of President Tinubu's administration in addressing the nation's challenges.
Devoting ourselves in prayer, it will not only give us reward, but it will take a lot of hardship, most especially the issue of insecurity. So we have to devote ourselves. We have to seek Allah's intervention this very month of Ramadan to ensure that at least we are out of this. And so long as we submit ourselves to Him, certainly He is there for us.
In addition to distributing essential food items such as rice, millet, sugar, and vegetable oil, the federal lawmaker has also introduced 41 Ramadan feeding centers across the 14 local government areas of Zamfara. These centers will provide meals to ensure that fasting Muslims, especially the most vulnerable, do not go hungry. Theophilus Darufe, TVC News Kusau.
To health matters now, the federal government says it remains committed to strengthening the healthcare system while scaling up finances for health infrastructure. Minister of Health Mohammed Ali Pate says the ministry has worked with other health sector officials and the Nigeria Governors Forum to retain 60,000 frontline health workers, improve reproductive, maternal and child health care.
Fellow Nigerians and friends around the world, good day to you all. Following the lead of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, we appreciate the sacred role and value of our nation's traditional leaders, the place and role of our royal fathers and traditional leaders, understanding of the relevance of our traditional institutions, even as we move forward in a progressive direction. In our bid to work synergistically with states and local governments to transform our country's primary healthcare ecosystem, improve immunization against communicable diseases such as polio, measles, and others, we are revitalizing primary healthcare centers and will ensure the full operation of the primary healthcare centers currently being revitalized in our country. The involvement of traditional and religious leaders in shaping perceptions, dispelling myths, and mobilizing communities is so invaluable. And as we move into our local communities with outreach, we do so very mindful of the transcendental role of our traditional leaders. Strengthening the primary healthcare system, retraining frontline health workers, improving reproductive, maternal, newborn, and child and adolescent health, scaling up financing and utilizing innovations for the delivery of immunization services were identified as key strategies in achieving our targets in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative. We're working on the free fistula program for vesicovaginal fistula repair in vulnerable women, expanding the nationwide free treatment for emergency obstetric services for poor Nigerian women who are in need, and the subsidies for those who require dialysis in some of our federal tertiary hospitals. All these efforts of the federal government have to be rooted in a keen understanding of community demands, community needs, and informing our traditional leaders so that they are aware of what President Tinubu's government, in collaboration with states and local government, is trying to do to improve the circumstances for millions of Nigerians who need medical care.
Talking politics now, some chieftains of the All Progressives Congress in Osun State has asked Governor Ademola Adeleke to work closely with the local government chairmen and councillors to bring about needed development at the grassroots. Adebisi, Bolagade and Fatai Gbadamosi were speaking at an event in Ikuru. They described the recent violence before the local government election as needless. They are also confident that the APC is becoming stronger to take over the leadership of the state in 2026.
That contested the election during his time, the Court of Appeal has affirmed that they should go back to their office, and they are there now. And that tells you that the party is back in the Ivelodun local government, is back in all other local governments of the state. And when you see that all these grassroots people are there, then they are preparing to take over by 2026. There's no gainsaying about that.
People of Osun, I think they have compare and contrast between our government and the present government in place. I'm very sure that the next governorship election and the general election in 2027, I'm very, very sure we are going to take over.
All right, to other stories now. The federal government has signed an agreement with Saudi Arabia's Halal Products Development Company to establish Nigeria as a player in the global halal market, valued at $7.7 trillion. The agreement is expected to facilitate investment and technical cooperation across key sectors for both countries. Vice President Kashim Shettima was represented by Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Office of the Vice President Ibrahim Adejia, at the signing ceremony in Saudi Arabia. He pointed out that the partnership represents a game-changing opportunity to transform Nigeria into a global halal economy powerhouse. The Vice President also emphasized that the collaboration is an important step in Nigeria's ambition to not only tap into the lucrative halal market, but to establish Nigeria as a leading global player. Well, the CBN appears to be paying close attention to financial institutions. Tolu Ogunjobi is right here with that story and more in Business News. Tolu, how are you today?
Very well, thank you so much. Happy New Week.
Thank you.
Well, let's start by telling you that the Central Bank of Nigeria has reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining a transparent financial system by reinforcing regulatory compliance and risk management in financial institutions. The special advisor to the CBN Governor on Compliance, Ms. Shola Phillips, said this while speaking at a high-level mandatory compliance and anti-money laundering training workshop in collaboration with Citi in Lagos. She emphasizes the need for adherence to global banking standards to sustain confidence in the nation's financial sector. According to her, the Apex Bank expects financial institutions to maintain dynamic risk-based AML and CFT programs that are responsive to the evolving financial environment. The workshop was attended by compliance officers, trade operations specialists, and bankers. And in other news, France has promised formidable assistance towards the development of Nigeria's solid mineral sector. French ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Mark Van Boster, gave this assurance during a courtesy call on the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dr. Dele Alaki. The ambassador emphasized France's keen interest in investing in Nigeria's growing solid mineral sector, aligning with the country's roadmap for mining development. Deputy Head Regional Economic Department of the French Embassy, Caroline Leberton, while collaborating the ambassador's stand, expressed France's readiness to fund projects in the mining cooperation. The minister, Dr. Alake, welcomed French government's commitment to implement tangible projects in the Nigerian economy. For decades, Nigeria has relied on imports to meet fuel demand, spending about $15 billion annually, and the coming on board of local refineries across the country has brought down the price of petrol. An economist and energy analyst, Mr. Kelvin Emmanuel, is urging government to partner host communities and other relevant stakeholders in the protection of the nation's crude oil pipeline to curb vandalism and boost oil production output. Mr. Kelvin said this when he featured on our flagship business program, Business Nigeria.
So I think that the government needs to look into concessioning those pipes and, like I said earlier, adopting a community-led approach to prevent vandalization of those pipes through the right-of-way fee sharing structure. In 2025, depending on how the price of crude and the obedience to domestic crude supply obligations in sections 109 of the PIA and the exchange rate goes, we might see fluctuations in the price. But Nigerians need to, get used to the reality that PMS price in any deregulated part of the world, the regulated markets in the world, is not static. It moves based on price of crude and exchange rates. Okay, we need to get into that reality that the static price that the government has created inefficiencies and led to serious losses of revenues to the government and instability and distortions in the markets, and that petrol prices are not to be static. But I'm optimistic that in the future, as the markets become more mature in the midstream and as the government begins to comply with domestic crude supply obligations in sections 109 of the PIA, that Nigerians might see lower petrol prices.
Asian shares markets made guarded gains today as investors waited anxiously to see if imminent tariffs would go ahead, while Bitcoin surged on the news of new U.S. strategic reserves of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, shot up 10% before pairing some gains to $93,230, while Ether, the second largest cryptocurrency, pulled back to $2,448 after climbing 13%. Now, MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan was flat, while Japan's Nikkei rose 1.7%. Chinese blue chips added 0.1%, with the rise in the Caixin XMP manufacturing PMI to 50.8 in February from 50.1, lending support. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq futures were both up 0.2%. Eurostock 50 futures firm 0.7%, while DAX futures rose 0.8%. FTSE futures gained 0.6%. The Norwegian government has announced a strategic agreement to purchase 10 Boeing 737-800 aircraft into its leased fleet. The transaction, which marks a significant step in the airline's long-term plan, will be funded through the company's cash reserves. According to the chief executive, Geir Kassin, the move is expected to deliver both short and long-term cost savings, as well as provide additional flexibility for future fleet plans. The country anticipates a one-time gain of approximately 570 million Norwegian kroner from the transaction. Saving about 200 million Norwegian kroner per year is on the outlook. Well, to the crypto market, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced the names of 5 digital assets he expects to include in the new U.S. strategic reserves of cryptocurrencies on his social media platform, spiking the market value of each asset. Trump says his January executive orders on digital assets will create a stockpile of currencies, including Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, Solana, and Cardano, which will be at the heart of the reserves. The Post sent the world's largest cryptocurrency upwards. The total cryptocurrency market has risen by about 10%, or more than $300 billion, according to CoinGecko. Bitcoin has fallen more than 17% in February, marking its biggest monthly percentage since June 2022, and it's losing more than a third of its price since topping $105,000 in early January. Well, crude oil prices edged up today as upbeat manufacturing data from China, the world's biggest crude importer, led to renewed optimism for fuel demand, although uncertainty about Ukraine's space deal and global economic growth from potential U.S. tariff loomed. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell to sell for $69.40 per barrel, with a downward price margin of 0.52%. Brent crude futures experienced a decline of 0.44% to sell at $72.49 per barrel. Bonny Light sells for $78.62 with a downward price review of 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers offer $74.98 with an uptick of 0.15%. Well, that's business at this hour. Next is sports news. I'll see you at the top of the hour for Business Nigeria. Good afternoon.
Business lives on the fast track of numbers. Business is a strange world where low numbers mean something different. And its currency are speed and time. Finding the open doors of Main Street is not just good business, it's the start of the business. Join us every weekend on Business Week.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to Journalists Hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays 1:30 p.m.
Luka Doncic had 29 points and 9 assists as LeBron James added 17 points, and the Los Angeles Lakers hung on to beat the Los Angeles Clippers for the second time in 3 days. Rookie Dalton Connect scored 19 points for the Lakers, who won their 6th successive game despite playing without injured starters Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. The Lakers have won 16 of the past 19 games, while Kawhi Leonard scored a season-high 33 points for the Clippers, who raised most of a late 21-point deficit before falling short in their 5th loss in the past 6 games. 2 days after the Lakers held off the Clippers by 106 to 102 points, the second meeting also came down to the wire. In other results, Miami Heat lost 112 to 116 points to the New York Knicks, while the Toronto Raptors defeated the Orlando Magic by 104 to 102 points, and Timberwolves defeated the Phoenix Suns by 116 to 98 points. In the world of tennis, world number 4 Jessica Pegula powered to her first WTA title of the 2025 season by defeating fellow American McCartney Kessler 7-5-6-2 in an All-American final in Austin, Texas. Kessler led by 4 games to 2 in the opening set before Pegula won 5 of 6 games to take the set. Pegula dropped the first game of the second set, but seized control by winning the next 4. Top-seeded Pegula converted 6 of 10 break points, while Kessler committed 4 double faults and won just 4 of her 10 service games. The victory is Pegula's 4th title triumph in the past 18 months.
Jessica Pegula is the
American boxer Gervonta Davis retained his WA lightweight title with a controversial majority draw against Lamont Roach in New York. In the world of football, Fulham goalkeeper Leno was the hero with 2 saves in the penalty shootout to knock Manchester United out of the FA Cup. After 3 precise spot kicks from both sides, Leno denied Victor Lindelof. Then, after skipper Anthony Robinson had extended Fulham's perfect record, the German also kept out Joshua Zirkzee's effort to send the Cottagers into the quarterfinals.
And the first to fail. He was able to push it back the way rather than stretching to reach it. Anthony Robinson to give Fulham the advantage, which he does. That may only be momentary. Zirkzee fails. And Fulham celebrate at Old Trafford. Ben Leno, the headline act, with 2 penalties.
Elsewhere, Danny Welbeck scored an extra-time winner as Brighton Hove Albion defeated Newcastle United to reach the quarterfinals of the competition after an incident-packed tie that ended with 10 men apiece. Fighting it out for the final place in the FA Cup quarterfinals, Premier League foes Nottingham Forest and Ipswich Town met at City Ground in tonight's 5th round encounter. Both sides earned 4th round wins away from home against lower league opposition, although in an entirely different manner, as the Tricky Trees needed penalties to eliminate Exeter City, while the visitors thumped Coventry City. Meanwhile, in from Bournemouth have been drawn at home to Manchester City in the FA Cup quarterfinals, while Preston, the only championship side left in the FA Cup, are at home to Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Fulham hosts Crystal Palace in a London derby, while Brighton Hove Albion will be at home to either Nottingham Forest or Ipswich Town, who play later on Monday. Aside from 2023 victors Manchester City, Ipswich Town are the most recent FA Cup winners, winning the title in 1978. Fulham, Palace, Bournemouth and Brighton have never won the competition. Right here at home, Remo Stars recorded a 1-0 victory over Plateau United in Ikenne. Remo Stars now established a 14-point lead at the top of the table. Meanwhile, in Lagos, Ikorodu City moved to 5th position following a 2-0 victory against Outland of Owerri, while Kano Pillars defeated Orders Rangers by 2-1 at the Sonny Abacha Stadium, with Super Eagles head coach Eric Churl in attendance. At the Lafayette City Stadium, Enyimba defeated Niger Tornadoes by lone goal, while Bayelsa United rallied to beat Bendel Insurance by 2-1. Elsewhere, Abia Warriors and Nasser United battled to a 1-1 stalemate at the Umuahia Township Stadium. More games to be played today as Aqua United welcome Katsina United El Kanemi Warriors battle Lobby Stars, while Shooting Stars will play host to Rivers United. And that's sports wrap at this moment. It's back to you, Nifemi.
Thank you for the updates in sport. Let's bring you stories from outside the country. President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, has emphasized that his country remains steadfast and ready to sign a rare minerals deal with the United States following Friday's meeting with Donald Trump and his deputy. President Zelensky met world leaders at a London summit hosted by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who suggested a coalition of European allies could step up to defend Ukraine and guarantee the peace. On Friday, President Zelensky had a heated exchange with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance in front of the media in the Oval Office. French President Emmanuel Macron has also suggested a partial one-month truce in Ukraine. Now let's bring you more updates from the Lagos State House of Assembly, where lawmakers are expected to reconvene. We've been speaking with our correspondents in that part of Lagos for updates as regards what's happening right now. We can now tell you that TVC News can confirm, rather, that journalists have been granted access into the Assembly complex. Former Speaker Mudashiru Basa is also at the Assembly as he joined other lawmakers in a meeting. Although the Lagos Police Command earlier denied that entry was restricted into the Lagos State House of Assembly, journalists were seen outside the complex before they were eventually allowed in. Police spokesperson CSP Benjamin Oteyin says in order to forestall any breakdown of law and order, the Commissioner of Police CP Olondare Jimo ordered the deployment of human and operational resources to the House of Assembly. We're following this development and we'll bring you more updates as we get them. That's the news this hour. You can get more on our website, tvcnews.tv. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube at TVC News Nigeria. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.
Good. We can build a new friendship. Cheers to a fabulous year.
I am sweet, but don't try me still.
How can niggas don't disgrace me?
I am avoiding one person. She does owe me an apology.
I didn't Google it. Like I said, girl, I read. You should read often.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach 2 million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707 272 8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
Albert Chinua Lumogu Achebe was born November 16, 1930 in
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello there, thank you so much for joining us. This is Business Nigeria. Happy new month and welcome. Thank you for keeping it with us. Let's start with top stories making headlines around the world of business. CBN reiterates dedication to enhancing regulatory oversight. Bitcoin surges 10% after Trump's major announcement. Shares cling to hopes for tariff relief as Bitcoin jumps. Well, today, a lot of conversations, but let's start with the commodities market before we get into our conversations for the day. Today, Africa commodities market, gold is still doing pretty well in the market, positive 1.02% and selling at $2,877.60 an ounce. And silver, $31.85, copper, $454.50, platinum, $952.62. And all positive for copper, it's in red, and platinum, positive 3.19. Let's see some food crops and what they're doing looking like. Corn, very essential. It's $469 and it's in the negative 0.50%, down 0.11%. Wheat is $560.75 on the positive for 5.00 and up 0.99%. For cocoa, it's $9,124. That's per ton, and that's looking pretty good. Cocoa also very important across markets. You know that's negative 131.00. And it's down 1.42%. What's happening with that market despite the use of cocoa? Well, we'll be looking at all of that as we discuss more our markets on the show today. Cotton is $65.74 with a positive of 0.49 and it's up 0.75%. Let's take you quickly to the global market as Asian shares market made guarded gains today as investors waited anxiously to see if imminent tariffs would go ahead, while Bitcoin surged on the news of new U.S. strategic reserves of cryptocurrencies. Now, Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, shot up 10% before powering some gains to $95,230, while Ether, the second largest cryptocurrency, pulled back to $2,448 after climbing 13%. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan was flat, while Japan's Nikkei rose 1.7%. Chinese blue chips added 0.1%, with a rise in the Caixin and S&P manufacturing PMI to 50.8 in February from 50.1, lending support. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq futures were both up 0.2%. Eurostock 50 futures fell 0.7%, while DAX futures rose 0.8%. FTSE futures gained 0.6%. These are the market figures there all today, all in green. We're looking pretty well. Let's take you to the oil market, where crude oil prices edged up today as upbeat manufacturing data from China, the world's biggest crude importer, led to the renewed optimism for fuel demand, although uncertainty about a Ukraine peace deal and global economic growth from potential U.S. tariff loomed. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude is down 0.52% to sell for $69.40 per barrel. Brent is down 0.44% to sell at $72.49 per barrel. Bonny Light is also down 2.84% to sell at $78.62 per barrel. OPEC basket is in green for today. It's $74.98 per barrel. The oil market is also looking pretty good. Well, let's go to our first discussion for today. President Bola Tinubu has signed the 54.99 trillion naira 2025 appropriation bill into law. The 2025 budget is 99.96% higher than the 2024 budget of 27.5 trillion naira. The president signed the budget with principal officers of the National Assembly and other top government officials present at the ceremony in his office at the State House, Abuja. The bill was approved by National Assembly on the 13th of February after revisions to President Bola Tinubu's initial budget proposal of 49.7 trillion naira. A breakdown of the budget for 2025 includes a total expenditure of 54.9 trillion naira, statutory transfer of 3.65 trillion naira, and a recurrent non-debt expenditure of 13.64 trillion naira. This increase reflects additional anticipated revenues from agencies such as the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the Nigerian Customs Service. During the signing, President Tinubu talked about the economic indicators that shows his necessary economic reforms are beginning to yield results. For further analysis of the 2025 fiscal spending plan, I have a senior economist at Stairs, Tumebi Oluwole. She's joining me via Zoom to continue this conversation. Tumebi, it's good to see you on the program this afternoon.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, I think we should start with, of course, this spending plan. Ambitious one, like everyone would say. 99% higher than what we had in 2024. First, let me allow you, what is your take with regards to the assumptions, projections, and all around this spending plan for 2025?
So starting with the assumptions, I would say we all know that they are pretty ambitious assumptions. The targets in the budget are very ambitious, but then again, they're not too far-fetched when you consider some of the data reconstruction that is going on currently with the inflation rebasing, or that's the CPI rebasing rather, and the GDP rebasing, right? But we also put all those numbers coincided with the current reforms that are currently being undertaken, right? So the tax reforms, for instance, the expectation is that will significantly contribute to these revenue projections that the government is planning to make and how they do intend to spend. But more importantly for me would be the core of what the budget is saying, and that is the priority of the federal government, right? How do they plan to spend Nigeria out of what Nigeria is currently facing? And not only that, how do they intend to sustain the growth that Nigeria is supposed to be experiencing and eventually reduce price pressures, right? So we do see that they are prioritizing capital expenditure, which is a good thing. Noting that with capital expenditure, we're going to expect more road infrastructure, possibly rail infrastructure, things that will be eventually able to support productivity across businesses, right? And a pointer to this is one of the foremost leading indicators that we use to gauge GDP or business activities, which is PMI. And we have seen that be sustained at the expansion level that is around 50 points and over, right? So in its entire essence, right, the budget is the core of the message is we're trying to spend to ensure that the economy grows, right? And I think that's one of the things that we will take. Now, whether or not the inflation numbers or the inflation projections or targets are realistic, I'd say that we would leave that conversation for another time, because as the year goes by, we'll be able to determine how much people are uplifted from the current living costs that they're experiencing. And I'll say same goes as well for the exchange rate. The CBN is significantly doing its bit, but not until we do see a significant increase in our foreign exchange inflows that we'll see the 1,500 naira, budget benchmark be sustained at least till the end of the year.
Brilliant start, I must say, and happy Women's, it's your month, so I wish you happy celebrations. Yeah, so let's look at the capital expenditure and some of this spending, the spending by government. Many would say there should be some specific interventions now to address the fallout of the challenges that we've seen with the implementation of the reforms. Yes, we're getting out of it. We've seen GDP figures looking pretty good. Like you also alluded to it, the FX market is getting some stability. But what sort of specific interventions are you looking at moving forward?
I mean, of course, when we take up reforms, not even when we take reforms, when any economy takes up reforms, the expectation is that they do make provisions for social social welfare to help the most vulnerable, in the country and in the society, at least live through that entire process. Right now, Egypt is even undertaking one ahead of the Ramadan, fasting, and the expectation is that Nigeria should be able to do that, right? We do expect that with all of the reforms that has taken place, with tax reforms also coming in more strongly. I think those are going to be taking up a lot more from the middle of the year, by second half of the year. So we do think that it's extremely important. Those social transfers, those conditional transfers to the most vulnerable households in Nigeria, which we do know are more resident between the north and southwestern parts of Nigeria, and also some parts of the east as well. We know that people necessarily need this support. The government has done a good job by increasing the minimum wage, but the issue with that is most of the companies, which are small to medium scale enterprises that will be paying that amount of money, have been the hardest hit through the reforms. So the ability to meet up with that will be very difficult, especially for them, especially when we're looking at it in terms of scalability and sustainability, right? Because the goal now is that they're able to produce as much. And right now, the economy is not yet at that point where they will thrive so much to be able to do that. So basically, in terms of support, number one, social transfers, conditional transfers, and unconditional transfers to the most vulnerable in society, and making sure that we do it in the most transparent way. The government has to do it in the most transparent way. So the National Cash Register, all the names of people that are going to be involved in that, is important that we know those people. It's important that we know how many they are. It's important we know the states that they are most resident in. It's important that we know the number of people in their households. So for instance, are they a household of 4? Are they a household of 5? What's our benchmark for earmarking this money to them, and how much are we earmarking to them every month or every day? So how are we transferring the monies to them? Digitally, are we giving them through cash? It's extremely important so that policy analysts will be able to understand how much of an impact this is going to have on the economy, because there are consequences, especially if we pump in so much cash into the economy without ensuring that we do it in a way that will be sustainable. Then the other aspect of it is supporting these businesses that should be employing this most vulnerable in the society. And like I said, the small to medium scale enterprises across the real sector. And across the real sector, we're looking at services, we're looking at services, particularly trade, because trade does account for about 16% of Nigeria's employment. Then you look at agriculture, so supporting farmers, and then supporting farmers and the entire agri sector value chain, and then looking at the manufacturing sector. So because those are the sectors that are able to absorb a lot more of Nigeria's labor force. So I'll say those are the two kinds of supports that I would expect with these reforms.
Debt service is also something very worrisome, and particularly the fact that we're expecting the revised GDP figures from the NBS that's considering the rebased GDP. Yes, I think I got it right there. So now many are worried that if that comes up, the debt to GDP ratio and all of that, these figures, you are the economist here, might start to, the country might want to get to learn more and all of that. How worried are you about debt service and about our present state of debt as a country?
I'd say it is obviously concerning, right? With the rate at which debt has increased, and the fact that most of this debt that has increased has been external debt. So we know that that's pretty concerning, especially when you look at the fact that the naira, has been devalued over the last year, right? So it's definitely going to be more expensive to service that debt. And there's obviously, like you rightly said, that problem, that illusion that with GDP rebasing, our budget deficit, our fiscal deficit to GDP ratio will be significantly below the threshold, and then it gives room for additional borrowing. But we've also seen that the federal government is trying to, federal government and the CBN, or both, let's just say policy authorities across board, are trying to leverage more on revenue generation. That's one, which is a good thing. And the second one is they're trying to leverage more on domestic debt sources, right? So we do expect that there will be some balance. There is still that concern, right, of debt being unsustainable over the next couple of years with how fast it is rising. But I mean, with investors being on the lookout for Nigeria, with the international community, literally being on Nigeria, I think that the government will want to tread carefully, and they should tread carefully when it comes to ramping up or gulping so much debt. And I think one other thing to point to here is that we have seen the trend of African countries venturing back into the international debt market. And we think that that is something that we should be on the lookout for. Nigeria has done two already. One last year with the Eurobond issuance. Whether or not another one is going to happen, it's quite unclear now. But we know that leveraging domestic market is something that the federal government will definitely want to rely on. We saw the domestic dollar bond issuance. So debt instruments of that sort will be what we expect the government to somewhat resort to. So it would just be a thing of the quality and the kinds of investors or creditors that the federal government will reaching out to, and how they do intend to, repay those debts as the years go by, because we do not want a resurfacing of ways and means advancing.
You commended the CBN with regards to how they've been able to manage the FX market, and this commendation has been coming from all quarters. But I would ask you, sustainability of this is key because we still try to drive down the greenback so that our currency can have the kind of strength that we want. So, two in one, what do you make of that sustainability from that space, and what more do you think the Apex Bank needs to do at this time to achieve this price stability that we always talk about?
Yeah, again, thank you for reiterating the commendation to the CBN, and it's because it's indeed worth commending. We think that, or I think that the CBN has done a substantial work with how they've been trying to manage Nigeria's forex markets and general monetary policy state. So their orthodoxy has really instilled into the market's confidence, and the expectation is that that's going to continue. The fact that reserves have been depleting pretty quickly is one of the pointers as to this sustainability that you're making mention of. And I think that the CBN will do what needs to be done to ensure that we bring in more dollar inflows into the country to sustain their efforts, right? But to help situate it properly, the first aspect of this is we need more dollar inflows into the country. And that is not within the purview of the central bank. That rests within fiscal authorities. And remember, we have four key sources of foreign exchange or capital inflows into Nigeria: oil, crude oil, non-oil exports, remittances, and foreign investments, which includes FDI and FPIs. For the first, which is oil, we do know that we have been seeing slight upticks in crude oil production, but that has to significantly increase to ensure that Nigeria is able to generate as much dollars in the economy through oil exports. And remember, we're in a fragile global economy now, where the chances of global oil prices reducing is quite high because the US is planning to ramp up production. And what this means is that Nigeria has to produce a lot more to leverage crude oil prices. And it's also quite complex because we do have an OPEC quota, right? So the expectation is that the government, or the important thing here is that we need to make sure that we increase our production. If negotiations with OPEC has to happen for this to be so, then we need to start having those conversations to ensure that we increase our production, because Nigeria is more sensitive to changes in oil production than prices, and that significantly impacts our foreign exchange reserves, which oil revenue accounts for over 50% of. Then we have non-oil exports. If productivity is still a problem, where our manufacturing, our services, and agriculture are not producing enough to export enough to generate substantial capital inflows, that will still be a problem for us. And then the remittance inflows, we are already seeing the diaspora community being engaged constantly with the central bank and also the federal government. The central bank is doing what they can, but for that confidence to be significantly instilled, the fiscal authorities have to do their part. Nigerians in diaspora need to believe that the economy is sustainable enough to bring in that money. And until they're encouraged substantially, we're already seeing those remittance inflows increase and pick up, but they can be more. And the final part of this is investment inflows, FPI and FDIs. What the central bank is doing in terms of keeping interest rates elevated or at least stable enough to keep attracting investors into the economy, short-term investors, has been working so far. Over the last couple of months and compared to last year and even 2023, we have seen FPI inflows almost triple. So the expectation is that with interest rates remaining as elevated, that will still keep coming in. But to bring in the long-term capital that we need substantially, the federal government has to do their part. So again, like I said, while there is work to be, while the CBN is doing what they can do, there's a lot more work for the federal government to do in terms of this sustainability. And on the part of keeping the naira stable and how this is going to eventually boil down, we think that there is the ripple effect or negative side of it, where if reserves continue to deplete and we do not see a significant increase or inflow of reserves, there will be problems with speculation and arbitrage opportunities in the market if people expect that the naira is going to, depreciate soon.
Yeah.
Again, the chances of that happening right now is pretty slim.
Finally, before I let you go, some little good news. Price of foodstuff in the market is beginning to reduce, and everyone is talking about it. It's some good news. Yeah, let me see. How does that come to you? And Nigerians are expecting more. They still want these prices to drop, of course.
Yes, I mean, that's obviously good news to anyone. I'm going to the market to buy commodities at really affordable or at affordable prices is what people definitely look forward to. And that is how, the common man or the average Nigerian will know that things are working at the top, right, in terms on a policy level. Yeah. Remember that commodity prices are cyclical, right? The seasonality that's at play here, and there are times where prices increase. So, for instance, the Ramadan period, because of the fasting, we do know that commodity prices are beginning to pick up again, right? So, until we begin to address some of those issues with agricultural productivity, like storage, to ensure that peak demand periods like this, we're able to ensure that there's enough supply and prices do not become astronomical. There's still a lot more work to be done, but I mean, there's a temporary reprieve and people are excited about it.
Tumebi Oluwole, thank you so much, Senior Economist. Thank you for starting the week with us on the show, and wish you Happy International Women's Month. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll be doing a holistic assessment of the energy market ahead of OPEC's monthly report. That report will be out sometime up a week, I think about 12th of March. We'll have the Vice Chair, Africa Energy Council, Dr. Chinan Dikwal. He joins me from Qatar to look at the oil market. After this break, that conversation continues. Don't go away.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Voted as the best TV station of the year, TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories, without the news from every perspective, covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to Journalists Hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays 1:30 p.m.
With your kind permission, Your Excellency, I would like to invite
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. You're still on Business Nigeria. Global energy research body Wood Mackenzie has said Brent crude prices will average $73 per barrel this year, about $2 below Nigeria's ambitious $75 per barrel projection in 2025. Budget that's which faces serious issues, of course, around revenue. Considering various geopolitical and economic factors, including potential peace talks between Russia and United States regarding Russian-Ukraine conflict, ongoing tariffs and sanctions against Iran, the market outlook anticipates global oil demand to increase by 1.2 million barrels per day in 2025. Nigeria targets to increase oil production to 2.06 million barrels per day in 2025 as the country banks on oil and gas to finance its 54.9 trillion naira budget. Let's talk to Dr. Chinan Dikwal. He is the Vice Chair, Africa Energy Council. He joins me live from Qatar to continue this conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Dikwal. It's good to have you on the show.
It was a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here.
I think we should start with expectations. A lot is happening around the oil market with projections and reprojections saying there could be a drop in production and all of that. But let me ask you what you think as we wait for March's report from OPEC. Let's review what we saw in February and what's your expectation moving forward, considering all of these geopolitical issues affecting the market.
Thanks so much. So I think there are a couple of things that we need to bear in mind as Nigerians. So the first of those here is this, that we have a new sheriff in town, Donald Trump. He has a new agenda, drill, baby, drill. So in lots of ways, he's very positive for us as Nigeria because we're an oil-producing state. So that's really positive on that front. But we need to recognize as well that with all of this agenda that's going on, we have a budget to finance. You just talked about it, 54 trillion. Naira budget that we have to finance. And there are a couple of things that are really important. One, McKinsey is forecasting $73 per barrel for this year. Quite frankly, I align with that. I see that to happen. And the reason for that is this. One, Donald Trump last week literally just put that sanction on Iran. So about 30 vessels in Iran have come under sanction. 30 vessels that take crude oil from the fields onto the market. So that, of course, means that demand for crude oil is going to go down because that supply is constrained. But the reality of it here is, you just spoke about it, Tolu, that there are negotiations right now to end the Russia-Ukraine war. And if that ends, the price pressure on crude oil will be lifted. We potentially will see the oil price come down. But outside of that, we're also seeing that China, who's traditionally been the biggest player on the field that takes lots of crude, we've seen a bit of sluggishness in that economy. So I think overall for this year, a very smart finance minister like we have, Wale Edun, will start to think, what's the price point for me to peg my budget? Last year, we saw $77 per barrel was sort of his peg. I'm hoping that this year he'll be much smarter than that and go a little bit lower, because all of the signs are pointing to the fact that we will be around $73, $74, $75 per barrel this year.
A good start. And when we talk about meeting up with our budgetary projections, we look at Nigeria trying to hit 2.06 million barrels per day. The minister said this is possible. Private sector players say this is possible. Operators are saying this is possible, that we can meet this up. But considering all theft and vandalism, do you think that we will get there? There's a renewed vigor and fight towards, addressing this. What is your assessment with regards to that?
Question, Tolu. So I'm going to say this, right? I'll take us back to January 2022. January 2022, our crude oil production was about 1.1 million barrels per day. Now, for context, Nigeria in the past used to produce about, roughly would produce about 1.8 million barrels per day. So that was a given. That was sort of our production level. But in 2022 January, we're still low at 1.1. Now, I'm going to say this. In the last OPEC count, so in February of this year, January, we were producing 1.5 million barrels per day. So that's about a 30% increase from where we were before. This is absolutely incredible. And why is it incredible? Because that's our OPEC quota. So, Tolu, just to say this, OPEC has traditionally given us a quota that we've not been able to satisfy for a long time. For the very first time ever, we are at that quota, which is really, really exciting news. So the question will be, can Nigeria produce above that quota? You just mentioned 2.06 million barrels per day, which I think is incredibly possible. But there are a couple of things that have to happen before we'll produce at that level. One, we need to have a discussion with OPEC. And then number two, we need to look at our system internally. How do we fortify and make sure that the theft that's happening does not continue? And actually, I'll say this to them. So one of the estimates that we've done not too long ago, we estimated that every day, so bear in mind, Nigeria produces, say for the sake of argument, 1.5 million barrels per day. Every day in 2018, about 200,000 barrels was being stolen. This is a fact, it's not even in question. About 200,000 barrels was being stolen. Today, I think at the end of 2024, actually, the same analysis was done, and that number went down from about 200,000 barrels per day to about 20,000 barrels per day. So there's been effectively around 90% decrease. And what's happened is all of the things that we've seen, Operation Desert Sanity that's happening in the Delta. The Navy have come up with very inventive ways of fighting and combating oil theft, and it's really worked. Several vessels have been destroyed. In fact, I'm going to say this. Let me just put these numbers out for context. So I think in the last few months, just for context, the Navy found and destroyed about 677 pipelines, illegal pipeline connections. They found over 4,000 refineries, illegal refineries that they destroyed. 4,000 illegal refineries were found and destroyed. And I think even pipeline connections, about 1,800 illegal pipeline connections, vessels, so new vessels coming into Nigeria to come and steal crude, close to 2,000 vessels. All of these things are extremely positive. In the last few years, we didn't see that before. But I'd say in the last 18 months, Operation Desert Sanity 1 and Desert Sanity 2 has really upped the game. And just last week, actually, the special assistant to the president, Oluwasegun, was speaking about these things, and she threw out some of these statistics. But I think, without a doubt, it's extremely positive that we are going the right direction. Crude oil production has gone 30% higher than we had before, and we're seeing a lot of gains in the fight towards curbing oil theft. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It does. But let me build on that. Brilliant answer, of course. Let me build on it and ask you that the issue of local refining now comes to bear. Many talk about local refining as the way to address some of these challenges that we face in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Now, at the present level, we see what's happening with Dangote refinery. We see what's happening with the NNPC refineries and all of them coming on stream. What impact do you think this would have in the larger oil market?
So when I think about oil refining, I look at it a bit philosophically. I think this is the first time, quite frankly, that Nigeria is backward integrating into its competitive advantage. What I mean by that is, in Africa, we're number one for oil production, for LNG exports and many things, okay? But this is the very first time that we are looking at what we're producing, and instead of just sending straight onto international markets, we're looking at adding additional value into it and then selling that product onto the international market. It is beyond exciting. It is beyond exciting. And just for context, Dangote refinery, this is about maybe 2 months ago, it is now operating at capacity, 650,000 barrels per day. So think about what we're doing. In Nigeria, we produce roughly, 1.5 million barrels per day. Dangote is taking about 650, roughly, for the sake of argument. I mean, you can argue there's a bit of importation, but 650,000 barrels per day capacity. So this is extremely positive because of one, job creation, but the value that we're adding here, the taxes that will be paid, energy security, petrol security, and all of. So it's extremely exciting. And I'd say this actually that Tolu, just last month we had the chairman of Hares Holding, Mr. Tony Elumelu, coming out to make the same pronouncement.
Yeah.
Hares Holdings very likely would go into oil refining again. Dangote has de-risked. He's just de-risked that sector, and many players are coming in. Another very good news, I'd say, we just saw again the announcement by Owando. Owando is taking potentially taking positions in in Trinidad and Tobago, bidding for refining there. So overall, this is extremely positive because it brings in additional foreign exchange into the economy.
Now, the flip-flop with regards to prices now, we see an increase, we see a decrease. That's what's been happening in Nigeria. At the time, it was over 1,000 naira. It came down to as much as 900. In some cases now, some filling stations are selling at 860 naira, 865 naira, and all of that. But thanks to deregulation. But many would also tell you that by the time the price of crude shoots up, for example, to about $80 per barrel, it would definitely reflect at our pumps. What happens at that time? So we'll continue to, take it away. What do you make of that?
No, you're 100% right. So there is still two things. One is Dangote today is functional simply because of the deregulation of the downstream oil and gas industry. In the past, because of subsidy, it was a very opaque system and it was very difficult for true investment capital to come in and invest in the sector. Now he has come in, and because of deregulation, we're having pumps. So we have energy security, energy access. We do have that right now. But you're 100% right, Tolu. If the price of oil goes up to $80 per barrel, unlikely for this year, I'd say, very unlikely for this year, but certainly if it goes to $80 per barrel, there's no question that that pain will be passed on to anyone at the pump. Nigerians will feel the pain. Why is that the case? Because the market is being deregulated. The market's a free market right now. It's a game of demand and supply. It's a game of demand and supply, and therefore the price point. So because of that, we will feel the pain. There's no question about that. But I think the whole thing around energy access and do we have it, I think a lot of that would fade away. It's principally something that happens with deregulation. But I'll say this just very quickly. Nigeria is not unique in doing what it's doing. For a long time, what we were paying here was way cheaper than anywhere else in the world. Even if you look around West Africa, I mean, you know this so well. Ghana, the price of petrol, I think in Ghana, I can't remember now, but I think it's something around $1 per liter at the time. Nigeria is far, far, far less than that. Very significant. I think around 40% off from what it was in Ghana. The same for Niger. And our neighbors had much higher prices, and that was why we had the issues that we had. Crude oil comes in here, of course, just pure capitalist. Once it comes in, you're looking at where you can sell it to get higher amounts of money. So there's lots of smuggling abroad. Today, there's none of that because there's price parity across the border. What you have here and what's across the border is about the same. So there's no incentive for people to take that and sell it abroad. So I think without a doubt, it's an extremely positive thing. We have to understand that because we're now governed by free market forces, when the price of oil goes up, it will be passed to us. There's no doubt about that. But I suppose the positive thing about it for this year, I've got to say, Donald Trump is running the drill, baby drill policy. What that means, Tolu, here is this, that it's very likely that the US will put additional barrels onto the market this year, potentially 2 million barrels, maybe 3 million barrels onto the market this year, okay? Because the policies are very favorable, and ultimately that means that there'll be a lot more drilling acreage and production that's coming online. If that happens, the market potentially will be oversupplied. And that's the whole point around that $73, $74, $75 per barrel for this year. So to your point, I think we should expect a bit of stability. No question about that.
All right, a minute now. We are going to continue our conversation. We have some live pictures from the Lagos House of Assembly where we heard that lawmakers have convened, and the Speaker, Mojisola Miranda, is also there with them. And we'll be having live pictures from there and see what the proceedings will be looking like today. We all know what's been happening.
That no blood will be turned here because of you. In fact, I'm happy for doing that. But I'm not surprised about you. Your character has spoken a lot about you. The family you came from, whatever you have done, I'm fortunate to work with Alailuwa or Bawasiu Bolahon Oniru, your brother, when we are both at the school. I know the kind of person he is, so I'm not surprised about your attitude. Sincerely, I want to thank your husband and your children for staying fast with you. I know and I believe you have gone through a lot. May God help you. May God uplift you more than this. I can't see more than this. There we are. Please.
Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to celebrate a trailblazer, a beacon of hope. As a sister, you're loved. Right Honorable Speaker, as a leader, you've shattered ceilings. You've paved way for future generation. But today I thank you for your vision and passion for progress. I, however, join my voice with my colleagues to celebrate you and say God bless you for a job well done so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Afeni.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. I just want to thank you for showing us the difference between fear and love, the difference between guns and roses. And just to say that if I could start from the scratch, I would change nothing. I'll do it all over again. That is all I have to say. Thank you, ma'am.
Honorable Akisanya.
Good afternoon, Right Honorable Speaker, Madam Speaker, my honorable colleague, on behalf of my constituency, Mushi Constituency 1, Madam Speaker, I rise today to celebrate you. Thank you very much for being here. You are a good mother to your children at home, a good wife to your husband, and you are a good leader to all of us. I wish you all the best. Madam Speaker, congratulations. Thank you.
Honorable again.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. Madam Speaker, I sincerely want to thank you for this beautiful 49 days well spent. And I sincerely want to pray for you that God Almighty will continue to guide you, lead you right as you sail on in life. From now henceforth, I pray and I know that God has lots and lots to unbuckle for you. Congratulations once again.
Deputy Speaker.
Good afternoon, the first female Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly. You show to us that you are a reborn leader. You are a woman that believes in participatory leadership style. You have a listing here. You are a woman that believes on the welfare of the members and the staff. You always consult before you make any decision. When we assume office, you called me to your office, you said, Egbon, we are in it together. If you hear anything, please endeavor to ask. We have a mandate to make sure that the Lagos State see the difference in our leadership style. But within the 49 days, we have been able to show to us, to the staff. I can say to her today that most of the outstanding you inherited you have been able to settle them. Thank you, Madam. God will continue to bless you. God will elevate you. You are a pride to us in Lagos State. Thank you.
Chief Whip.
The Right Honourable Speaker and my colleagues, I stand this afternoon to appreciate this woman. I met her in the year 2015, and since that time, she has never disappointed. She's compassionate, selfless, kind, responsible. During your tenure, your very short tenure as the Speaker of this House, you have endeared yourself to every one of us, including the staff. Your short period has been so wonderful to us. We appreciate you. May God continue to bless you and to promote you. Thank you.
Honorable Shabi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise this afternoon to support what my colleagues have been saying about you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the people from Lagos Mainland Constituency 2, I appreciate what you've been doing for us in this House of Assembly. And I'm going to say this to you, Madam Speaker. You are a hero of democracy. You are someone who have listened to your party. You are a party person. And you have shown Lagosians, you have shown Nigerians, your party is supreme. God bless you, and God will continue to be with your family. Thank you.
Honorable Elliott.
Madam Speaker, can I let others talk first?
Elliott, sit. Honorable Sheyi Lawal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think you've made history as the first Speaker of this Lagos State House of Assembly. First female Speaker of this Lagos State House of Assembly. Madam Speaker, the little time you spend as the Speaker of this Lagos State House of Assembly, you've shown a good leadership skill, which everybody can testify to that. Your calmness is second to none, and your leadership skill, which everybody can commend, because you've shown affection to every one of us, which you'll be able to hold 90% of this house without any hindrances. I thank you, I celebrate you, I wish you well in all your endeavor, and I pray to Almighty Allah that, Lord, Almighty Allah should grant you your heart desire. This is not the last place in life, and this is not the last time, and this is not what God have for you. You are destined to be great, and I believe you even believe in destiny, and destiny can never be changed. I pray that as you are staying, living, may God Almighty Allah be with you and grant whatever you lay your hands on. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Tobun.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Well, I may choose not to talk if I don't want to talk, but that would be being disservice to humanity. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you, Madam Speaker. I want to congratulate you because Lagosians and residents, they are behind you. Members of this parliament, we are behind you. The staff are behind you. So you are a hero of democracy. Or call it heroine, whichever way. You are a valiant.
You are an achiever. You are a winner. One with God. Fear nobody. God is with you. And I can assure you, by God's grace, in the politics of Lagos State, politics of Nigeria, you are going places. Because you have displayed that you are a woman with a larger heart. Yes. Men will have crumbled. You never disappointed us. You put your foot on the ground, on the sand of the truth, and you make a retreat when it's needed most. We are not afraid. We can damn the consequence. And that will be too bad for Lagos State. Lagos is the center of excellence. You listen to the party, you listen to the intention of the leadership, and you are willing to let go. I commend you. I congratulate you. Well, what will I say than to pray that God will be with you, God will be with the family, God will fortify you, God will pave way for you where there is no way, and you shall reach your promised land. Inshallah. Thank you.
Honorable Akpata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. Our people have said a lot about you. You have proved to us that what a man can do, a woman can do better. This is a message to our people. Election of local government chairmen are coming up. If any woman of high standard come up for an election, let us give that person a benefit of the doubt. Madam, on 3 characters, I want to score you. Team leader, 100%. Good character, 100%. Humility, 100%. Madam, I dug my heart for you. You shall continue to go in places. May God continue to help you. On behalf of my constituency, Somolu constituency too, we are saying congratulations to you. In this political situation in Nigeria, you will go higher. Thank you and God bless you.
Honorable Majority Leader.
My Speaker, Madam Mojisola Lasbat Miranda, in 49 days, you have restored confidence in me as a legislator. In 49 days, you have given me the peace I have lost for 1.5 years in this house. In 49 days, you have given me purpose, and you have re-encouraged me that indeed it is easier to lead with love and not fear. Madam Speaker, the entire chamber is in tears. We are in tears because we are not happy for you. We are happy, and that's why we're in tears. Because the spirit of friendship you have restored into this house. The spirit of comradeship, the spirit of loyalty, the sense of belonging to a party, and understanding that the party's decision is always supreme. We have seen it in you, and we have followed suit. Madam Speaker, I'm happy today to celebrate you as the first ever Speaker in Lagos State House of Assembly. Not only that, you have shown every one of us what is called love. You have shown us you have a big heart. You have shown to us that we as members and individuals must continue to love ourselves. Madam Speaker, yesterday we saw it again. We saw the strength in unity. We saw the strength in friendship. We saw the strength in brotherhood. We stood together as one against adversity. You gave us strength. You didn't ask for this. You were a victim of circumstance. And you never backed down. And you never let us down. You never betrayed us. We never betrayed ourselves. We see you as our mother, our sister, our friend, and the people's speaker. Madam Speaker, I celebrate you. To my dear colleagues, this is not the end. This is not the end. This is Asiwaju's house. This is Bola Ahmed Tinubu's house. We are all products of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we are all products of APC, except one who has even acted in capacity as a member of this house. Let's not lose hope. Things will change. Things will happen better. We have shown to the world that we are legislators of character. We have shown to the world that we are very confident. We have shown to the world that we are product of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a legislator today in this house, he would do the same thing we are doing today. Madam Speaker, we are proud of you. Distinguished colleagues, I thank you for the opportunity to serve you. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Madam Speaker, we'll see you at the top. Thank you.
Honorable Elliott.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Right Honorable Mojisola Lasbat Miranda. I remember about 10 years ago, we came in here together. Little did I know that I was coming in with a heroine. I thank wholeheartedly the All Progressives Congress, the APC. We have given birth to good children. And I'm proud. On behalf of Surulere, Constituency 1, we want to congratulate you. We want to thank you. We're not going to say much, but to say, Madam, Surulere doff the heart for you. And to my colleagues, I doff my heart. My heart because we were able to show that together we remain strong. We're able to show in love. This is the first time, Madam, that first-timers, second-timers, third-timers, fourth-timers could stick together in love, quarrel in love, end it in love, and guess what? Under your chairmanship. We are proud. I am so proud of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Indeed, we have proven that we set ourselves above every standard of excellence. Indeed, we have shown that party is supreme. And we are so proud to be doing it. In humility and in love. We thank our party and we thank every staff for being here and for being supportive. I'm going to end with saying this, ma'am, that surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. Right Honorable Mojisola Lasbat Miranda. And you shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. And to all the colleagues and to the staff and to everyone who has made Lagos State House of Assembly what it is today. We thank Mr. President. These are your children. We are proud to have you as a father. And we thank you for your guidance. God bless Lagos State. God bless APC. And God bless Nigeria. Thank you, ma'am.
Honorable Ishao.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Right Honorable Mojisola Lasbat Miranda. Well, my honorable colleagues have spoken. They've said practically everything that needs to be said. You have been described with all the various words that would make tears run down anybody's eyes. But you're a child of history. That's how we just sum it. Interesting and also interesting. First female Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. You broke the glass ceiling to have that done. On the other hand, shortest Speaker, 49 days. I remember we used to make use of fun of ourselves. I think it started from 14 days to 21 days, and so on and so forth. But congratulations, you have done it. You have broken that glass ceiling, and it is part of your record. For me, you have one special quality. You know, when we're describing leaders, we talk about character, we talk about listening capacity. There's one quality I see in you. It's called leadership awareness. You sense your environment, and that is something that is great, because only powerful leaders are able to foresee the unseen and sense the unknown. And that is a quality you have. And may God Almighty expand it for you. You have brought peace. You brought peace and tranquility to this environment. You showed us and our colleagues that there's another way. There's another way to live. And I'm sure everybody appreciated it. We're very proud of you. You did very well. I must say that over and over.
Emotional scenes unfold in Lagos Assembly as lawmakers hint at what might appear a leadership transition. They are speaking highly of the Lagos State House Speaker, Mojisola Miranda. One of them was quoted earlier to have said, "As you are leaving, may the Almighty be with you." We're beaming live from the floor of the Lagos State House of Assembly as plenary resumes after it was suspended indefinitely a couple of weeks ago in the midst of what has been a major leadership tussle for the control of that house. Recall that last week, the embattled Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, stormed the Lagos State House of Assembly in company of security paraphernalia and leading plenary with 4 members of the House. He reportedly was at a meeting with the lawmakers earlier, but he's not currently with them during this plenary. Stay with us for more updates as we cover the plenary at the Lagos State House of Assembly. You're watching The World Now on TVC News. Thanks for joining us on The World Now. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. We'll begin in the Middle East.
Pedro, SAN. Good afternoon, all, for coming to your House of Assembly. We do appreciate your support. Deputy Whip, your light is on, please. Deputy Whip.
Madam Speaker, my honorable colleagues, good afternoon once again. Permit me to say a very big thank you to my constituents back home, Chauffeur, constituency 01. By now, they must have known that they have a good representative in me. Having been elected by this noble house to be among the very few principal officers is two things. One, maybe for some qualities which I have not even discovered, and they have discovered it. Because certainly there must be some things that they must have been looking at in terms of maybe virtues or character or competencies or capacity or capabilities. Today I'm here as the Deputy Chief Whip of the Noble House of Assembly, the house that pride itself as the house that is above the common standard of excellence. We can have it better. I want to thank you, all of my colleagues, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity you have given me. I never lobbied for it. I never lobbied for it. Even somebody who gave me a snippet, okay, you are going to be our social. I said, no, I don't want it. Go and tell your source, I don't want it. Kennedy Joseph, you are there. But you gave me that opportunity. And this very short while, I've been able to prove myself that I'm capable of the office that you have honored me with. I thank you very much. On this note, and in the best interest of our party, which is supreme, I, Honorable Sonny Ganu, Babatunde Okunlawon, representing Koshofe Constituency 01, hereby tender my resignation as the Deputy Chief Whip of the Noble Lagos State House of Assembly. I so submit.
Thank you to our dear former Deputy Whip, Chief Whip.
The Right Honourable Speaker and my distinguished colleagues, I'm happy this afternoon because by your grace, you appointed me as your Chief Whip some few weeks ago. The period I served as a Chief Whip, I've had a good time. And I've enjoyed your confidence, and I appreciate you immensely. But I got to this house by the grace of God and by the mercy of my party, APC. And to me, and to every one of us here, party supremacy cannot be negotiated. For this reason, and for other considerations, I, Senator David, the Honorable Senator David, representing Banari 22, hereby resign my appointment as the Chief Whip of this noble house. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Candidate Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, my name is hereby nominate Honorable as the Deputy Chief Whip of 10th Assembly Lagos with Order 7, Rule 33, Subsection 1. I shall nominate. Thank you, ma'am.
Honorable Tijani Suraj.
Yeah. I want the nomination.
All in the eyes are with Deputy. Yeah. Oh. Sorry. Majority Leader. Honorable Candidate Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, once again. I hereby renominate and affirm Honorable Cash Subsection 1 of the Standing Rules of the Lagos State House of Assembly. I so renominate. Thank you, ma'am.
All in favor, say aye. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those against, say nay. Aroma should.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Honorable Aroma Should Abiodun, representing Korodu Constituency 2. I want to Honorable Rule leader of this house.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against, say Deputy Speaker.
Dear honorable colleagues, resignation as deputy speakers of the 10th Assembly, it is with a deep sense of responsibility, commitment, House that I hereby tender my resignation as the Deputy Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, effective today, 3rd of March 2025. This decision was not made lightly. I carefully considered both the circumstances that led to my election as the Deputy Speaker on 13th January 2025. and the need to uphold the supremacy of our great party, the All Progressive Congress. As loyal party members, we are bound to respect, aligned with decisions that ensure unity, stability, and progress of both our party and this honorable House. We as a legislator bear the scout duties of representing the good people of Lagos State, safeguarding democracy, and ensure good governance. I'm mindful of the historical significance of my tenure, not just for myself, but for the peoples of Ibejuleki Constituency 1 as a whole. For the first time, our constituency had the opportunity to serve at these high levels of leadership within the Lagos State House of Assembly, a milestone that will never, forever remain a proud moment in the political journey. I sincerely appreciate the unwavering support and collaboration of esteemed colleagues, the leadership of our party, the management and staff of this House. Your solidarity, encouragement made my tenure as a Deputy Speaker an enriching experience. I will always cherish the bond that we have built together. When I step down from this position, I remain steadfast in my legislative duty as representative of Ibejuleki Constituency 1. My commitment to the progress of Lagos and well-being of the constituents remain unshaken. And I look forward to continue our shared efforts in the House. Thank you all for the opportunity to serve in this capacity and for your continued support as we work towards a better Lagos. Yours in service, Right Honorable Mojid Fatah Adebola, member representing Ibejuleki Constituency 1. Thank you very much.
Honorable Tijani Suraj.
Madam Speaker, Order 7 Rule 31, I rise this afternoon to nominate Honorable Mojid Fatai from Ibejuleki 1 to take the position of Chief Whip of the Lagos State House of Assembly. I so move.
Honorable Bonu Solomon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hereby second the motion. Thank you, ma'am.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Chief Whip, can you please take the chair? Good afternoon once again, my distinguished colleagues, staffers of this great house, our great party, and everybody seated here this afternoon in this chamber. My dear and gallant honorable colleagues, this is a notice of resignation as Speaker of the 10th Assembly. Once again, history beckoned on me to make personal sacrifice towards resolving the stemming, implacable leadership crisis rocking this Assembly of Patriots. I come from the illustrious Lawal Akapo family of Lagos. My family has played and shall continue to play defining roles in entrenching democracy, good governance, and the development from of honor, dignity, and the service of Chief Taurid Akoni Lawal Akapo Adejinyo II, the past Ojora of Lagos. Please permit me, dear colleagues, to reinstate the position I previously expressed in a league publication, wherein I stated as follows. 1. It is with that I hereby give you notice of my decision to resign as the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, 3rd of March 2025. I did not arrive at this decision lightly. Indeed, I took it careful consideration and integral circumstances that accumulated in my election as Speaker on the 13th of January 2025. On the one hand, and the recent political turmoil, which is threatening the cohesion of this honorable House, on the other hand. We had a representative of the good people of Lagos with a mandate to protect our democracy and ensure good governance. I am a good student of political history, and in this regard, I know that this is a point at which, as your leader, I have to make this selfless sacrifice to resign in order to protect this institution. With your unflinching support, I made history as the first female Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly. And I value and cherish the solidarity freely given to me. My esteemed honorable members, I do not leave out the management and staff of this assembly. I am sincerely grateful to each of you for your support and collaboration during my short